revolutionizing intimate wellness. As an embodied intimacy and relationship coach and former sitting editor at Cosmopolitan magazine, she brings a unique blend of insight and sophistication to her work. Orla is the founder behind Lubify, the first luxury intimate lubricant designed to empower women through perimenopause and menopause with unparalleled ease and pleasure. Unlike anything else on the market, it sets a new standard with its Hermes-inspired packaging and commitment to being vegan, cruelty-free, and Sephora clean. Orla proudly calls it the Tom Ford of lube, where the worlds of skincare, fragrance, and sexual wellness elegantly converge. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Live the Glamour Chats. I'm here with Orla Maguire, the founder of Lubify, and there's so much to talk about. And I feel like there's a lot on this subject. And I want to start with your journey getting here. I know you were a sitting editor for Cosmopolitan magazine and then led into this new career, intimacy coaching and creating a very interesting and brand. I think that's probably necessary for women all over. So let's talk about how you got started.
Thank you. Working at Cosmo is fabulous because it really is the home of the fun, fearless female. And I think
Yes.
that's what shaped me to just kind of grow some balls almost. You know what I mean? Just to kind of be comfortable talking about subjects that sometimes people kind of shy away from. Being on set a lot and always working with hair, makeup models, the conversations are crazy. They're always going to be crazy. So I decided after my time at Cosmo that I wanted to get into brands. And actually, I have a cosmetic brand, Lash Star Beauty, that I started in 2016. And that really came from, being on set and my focus with Lash Star is all about the lashes. So
Mm.
whether you're mascara, false lashes, I wanted to kind of give you the right lashes and the right tools and everything to just transform your face because being on set and seeing how a model transformed when her lashes were done, I just saw this new confidence. And actually, through my journey with Lash Star and being in store, up and down the country, Blue Mercury, Neiman's, just doing special appearances with customers, I really kind of got to hone in on women, having the chats, dispelling why are they not so confident? You're gorgeous, you're so pretty. Why can you not,
Yeah.
exude that? And that's kind of that whole journey then took me to the next step, which was the creation of Lubify.
Mm.
So really it was almost like, okay, confidence is something that we all, don't know we have, and it's how can I best nurture it with beautiful products and beautiful brands.
I love it's so organic the way you came to this, which is always the best way I think to start a brand and really has a purpose. I'm sure you've spoke to a lot of women, it sounds like, and knowing different parts of their life and what maybe they're experiencing. Um, what would you say your personal aha moment was? Was it that you went from having these conversations and talking to women to saying, okay, now I'm going to move into this next brand?
Well, even I think with myself as I was aging, and it was just over the last couple of years that I've seen so many conversations being had, books being written,
Mm.
products being launched, all addressing menopause and perimenopause. And I thought, you know what, it's time. And even, when you chat with women and then when the conversations went a little deeper and you realize, that they just are lacking in
Mm.
confidence. And as I always say, it's an inside job,
Yeah.
confidence comes from within. So I just felt that the market was still very clinical and sterile. There was nothing just beautiful and sexy and feminine. And coming from the editorial world, coming from the cosmetics world, I wanted to kind of bring a brand that just oozed, appeal that you would just want to have it regardless.
Yes.
So that was my primary goal.
I think that comes across so well because I know just seeing it, it's like, oh wow, this is interesting. It doesn't feel clinical. It feels like very luxurious. It looks luxurious. The packaging I know is has more of that Hermes style to it, which I know was, I believe, part of your goal in designing the
Yeah,
package of it. Um, what
absolutely.
would I before we get into the whole that the what it exactly is, I want to touch on the subject of perimenopause and menopause because I do think that it is more in the forefront now, but still one of those subjects that I think everyone's a little hesitant to jump into or talk about. And young, all different ages, the more you know, the easier it is
to then be able to handle certain situations or deal with things that may be going on or understand them better. Is that where you were coming from with this?
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. And that was my
Yeah.
whole plan with the website, ilubify.com, wasn't just to bring a product to the market, but also to kind of create a place where people could go. Our blogs are really educational. There's a lot of
Yeah.
great topics covered there. I have a couple of fabulous experts on my team, a New York City gynecologist, a pelvic floor therapist. And these are people that, growing up myself, I didn't even really know how much
No.
information they had, how important the information was. So my goal really is to kind of, yes, deliver gorgeous product, but to
Yeah.
also kind of demystify and educate as well, because it
Mhm.
certainly wasn't there a few years ago.
Did your intimacy coaching, I guess, really help guide that? Is was
Yeah,
your
as I started to kind of go into product development and then having conversations with people, I realized that there's a big gap, that people are very reluctant to talk about intimacy. So
yeah,
that kind of, made me want to kind of dig a little deeper. So
yeah.
I did a course, I became certified as an intimacy coach through somatics and embodied intimacy, which really is all about the body. And, I would have conversations with friends and people would talk about, oh, dissatisfaction in their relationship. And then when you peel back the layers and kind of
Mm,
say, how are you with you? You know what I
right,
mean? How, and see people kind of, well, I don't enjoy, but then it just kind of posed the question, why? And
right.
let's get to the root of the cause.
Mm,
So that's one of my favorite things really is to sit and have conversations with women about themselves, because intimacy and pleasure can take many shapes, whether you
mm,
like to garden or do yoga or sing, but do something that gives you pleasure, and taking that time for yourself and then bringing it, a step further. And, whether it's taking time to have a bath, taking extra time after the shower to rub body lotion in, but just
mm.
kind of being more aware of your body. And really, that's my goal is to kind of help people connect with their body because once you've connected, then your relationships are going to be so much better.
Oh, that's amazing. I feel like we're never really taught that or to
Yeah.
take the time to do that. We're rushing around and it's like that seems like such a luxury and just something as simple as body lotion or like you said, this gardening or things that maybe you're drawn to. It
Yeah.
is hard to take the
Well, it
time.
is. And we never want to, be self-indulgent, and
Mm-mm.
that's what I
Yeah.
want to do is kind of pierce the veil of shame and guilt around intimacy because I think
Mm.
we do all kind of grow up feeling a level of shame and guilt about our own bodies and about
Yeah.
enjoying them and about knowing what helps, what's good, what feels
Yeah.
good. It's just a conversation that's hard to have, and as a mother to two teenage daughters, I want to make sure that as they grow that, they're not ashamed, they're not afraid.
That
So
must be amazing to have that right there at home.
I hope so.
I think that's so nice because I mean, I feel like the younger you are and the more it is maybe talked about a little bit more, the less of that. I don't know. I grew up less talking about that kind of any of it.
Right.
And it's like, why? Why not? Why
Yeah,
not have a conversation and it's okay and we should be proud of who we are and our bodies. Um,
exactly.
so
Exactly.
as you had these conversations and saw more of it and built out this brand Lubify, what were some of your goals with it?
So to make it more of a community, and one of the ways I thought I could help do that was I'm working right now on an intimacy card deck. So because I always say intimacy is into me see.
Mm,
So, maybe if you spend 5 minutes when you wake up or before you go to bed, and just I always talk about putting your hand on your heart, your hand on your belly, and just feeling that connection within yourself, or maybe tracing your fingers along your collarbone or your pelvis. Just being
mm,
aware of touch, like even if you're stroking the inside of your arm and then you kind of speed it up or slow it down, how does that feel? So just
mm,
kind of connecting. And so the goal with the intimacy card deck was to kind of give you a little card every day that you just have a little tip, and that's going to be your mindfulness almost for the day. And then also I've a couples deck. So,
mm.
a lot of times, like, how easy is it to stare into the eyes of our significant other? It's really difficult. It's awkward.
Yes.
It's embarrassing. But meanwhile, we swap bodily fluids
Yeah.
together. So, but we still can't look each other in the eye. So that was the whole idea was to have a card deck for, individuals, but also for couples to kind of help bring the conversation out there.
Is this card deck, are they available or something
Not
you're working
yet, launching
on?
in
Okay.
August.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that idea. That does open up conversation a lot easier than just having to start it or even think of what you would want to say. I feel like that's always a lot of the hesitations. Like, well, what do I even say? How do I even begin
Right.
a
How do you
conversation?
start the
Yeah,
conversation, you know?
right.
And that's why even with the lube, with the product itself, I wanted it to kind of be the marriage of skincare, fragrance, and sexual wellness. So it's almost like it's not like here I am producing a sex object, you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's skincare, it's fragrance, it's all of those things. And that's what pleasure really is about as well. It has to appeal to all of our senses, whether it's our olfactory, whether it's touch. And that was really my goal, was to kind of have something that appealed on every level.
And there's not really, I mean, that I know of a lot of products that do that, that bring in the scent or bring in, like yours has hyaluronic acid in it and squalene. And I think those are products that we hear all the time, that we're putting on our face or putting on our skin, taking care of ourselves that way. And why are we forgetting this whole other part of our body?
Well,
Yeah,
exactly. And that's why I've kind of reframed it as skincare for down there,
I like
because
that.
we'll even go to great lengths to massage oil into our
Yeah.
cuticles. You know what I mean? So every part of our body that's exposed is well taken care of.
Yeah.
So we should absolutely, and that was kind of through my journey in education as well, is that as we age, we do face problems. So
Mm.
it's kind of like nip them in the bud. You know what I mean? You're going to always keep your face moisturized. So really and truly, you should keep down there moisturized as well. But people tend to shy away from products with too many ingredients. So I was very mindful. And coming from, the
Mm.
cosmetics world, especially with eye products, I'm really I'm very conscientious about
Yeah.
ingredients. So with Lubify, I wanted to make sure it was all natural. So it's really just four simple ingredients, as you mentioned, the hyaluronic acid, the vitamin E, the squalene, and the silicone. And then I've infused essential oil of neroli and cedarwood. So,
Yes.
there's no synthetic fragrance.
Mm.
It's all very natural.
I
So it's
love that scent.
clean and simple. Me too.
That's
It's really
that's like
nice.
the perfect scent,
Yeah.
really.
I'm so excited
Uh,
for the next sense.
are
I
you
could
working
elaborate, talk all
on
day about what's
yeah.
coming.
Oh, that's so exciting. That is very ex when did this
You.
launch? When did you launch the company?
Valentine's Day.
Oh,
So
okay, so it's
yeah,
very
we're
it's
still in our
relatively new.
infancy.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
perfect time
yeah,
to
exactly.
launch it, to have it. Do you see an uptick in since launching it in women being more interested in getting the purchases and having a conversation around it more?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? It's a product for men and women, and I
Mm,
love when I see guys buy it.
that's nice.
Whether they're buying it for their lady or buying it for themselves, it's so nice to see that it appeals to men as well,
Yeah,
because that was, the goal too. And I think, that helps in a relationship if the male partner is willing to, and sees it and thinks, okay, this will enhance our relationship, and it just says a lot.
yeah.
So.
And
It's
I
interesting.
think it is a struggle as women, get older. And I feel like if that is a problem, why not solve that? Because if
Exactly.
that's creating an issue within the relationship that can be resolved, which seems like it could be, and
Yeah,
if this is one thing that's going to help or change that, maybe it'll eliminate some other things that are going on or other tensions, because if that is alleviated, other things could
exactly. And
change.
it's trying to take away the embarrassment of it for
Yeah.
women, because sometimes, as even after childbirth,
Mm.
you're, you know, you're not expecting what way your body's going to
Right.
react. So we definitely, we're very much geared towards postpartum, and it's not just for aging and, menopause,
Right.
perimenopause, it's for everyone. And sometimes I meet people and say, oh, I don't need lube. And I'm like, you know what? Okay, but try it,
Right.
because, if you try it and love it, you'll discover that you can't go back. So I think it's really important for all of us just to kind of keep all of our body
Right.
parts
And why not make it better?
well lubricated. Absolutely. Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that. Did you feel like when you broke into this, the wellness industry didn't have something like this in that side of things?
Yes, I definitely felt there was nothing as elevated. And
Mm,
again, just the marriage of skincare, fragrance, and sexual wellness, there was nothing that really spoke beauty.
hmm.
So that's why I love it, because I can carry it in my makeup bag and not feel
Yes.
any shame or anything. It is part of my wellness beauty
Mm,
routine.
I like that.
So I think that's what's has
Special.
been missing. So
Yeah.
you
For
know?
sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Would you say, or I actually want to get into this because I think it'll be fun. The name of the this show is Live the Glamour, and how would you say, or what does that mean to you if you were going to live the glamour of your
Live the
life?
glamour just means, just go for it, buy the nice candle, indulge
Okay.
in the red lipstick, have the best lube, just be glamorous, be
Mm.
gorgeous. And I always say to people as well is that when we are, in our best confident version of ourselves. It's our divine feminine energy, and that's when we're in our most creative. We're the best company to our friends, we're the best mother to our children, we're the best person in a relationship. So, really, I just love being a woman, having the glamour,
Yes.
just letting it all ooze out.
You said that perfectly. I love that. I love the way that sounds, and I feel like that really does exemplify it. And it's funny because a brand like this really does kind of come bring it all together because if you're taking care of yourself in every way, you are living that glamour in such a special way. So I like that. I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
Um, I know you spoke a little bit about what you have on the horizon. Is there, anything that you're that is driving you? I know that you have the cards, and what else would you say is in the direction for the brand the next few years?
It's definitely not one size fits all when it comes to any product, as we know.
Mm,
So, my launch product was a silicone-based
okay.
lubricant. I definitely want to have a water-based lubricant.
Huh.
And while I do love scent and I have some more scents coming out, I wanted to also do Lux Lube Nude, the
Mm.
unscented version.
Ooh.
So when I do Lux Lube Nude, it would be the silicone-based one. Then when I do the water based products as well, they'll come in the same scents. So it's going to just have whatever you want. So
Right.
whichever fragrance you want, or whether you prefer silicone or water based, I hope I can just kind of
What
quench
would
everyone's thirst.
what would you say the difference is between, is it just a preference between the silicone or the water-based, or is it an allergy? Is there a reason
It
that makes
definitely
you?
is a preference.
Okay.
The silicone has just the most sensual glide to it that you're not going to get with a water-based.
Okay.
And it's longer lasting. It's better in if you're in the shower or in the, bath, you're definitely going to get more longevity with a
Okay.
silicone-based lube. But then again, for a lot of toys nowadays that are silicone-based, maybe a water lube is better. And because silicone, needs to be washed off with warm water, I
Mm.
think water-based is sometimes an easier option. So it almost depends on where you are, where you're going, who
Right.
you're
What
with,
you're
and
doing.
what your personal preference is.
Yeah.
I'll have both when I have the,
Right.
the water one
Right.
launched. I think, it's important.
It's something like that. I think even just that subject, a tiny little, change is something we don't even know about, maybe that little difference. So the fact that you're um working on these different products and having these options, and then also like just that explanation itself, it changes the whole dynamic of a product like this and the industry. So I think it'll be interesting to see where it goes from having once you launch those two as well. So
Thank you.
I
And I'm
love
super
that.
excited that we're going to launch our little minis, so you can
Oh,
just slip it in your purse.
oh,
If you're
that's
going on a
cute.
date night, and you don't want to have a whole tube, it's almost
Yeah.
like carrying a little lipstick, so they're going
Oh,
to be
there's,
just so gorgeous and so chic to just pop in your purse if you're out on a date.
yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. You have so many good things to look forward to, which leads perfectly into where can everyone find you at social media, your website. I will have everything in the description below, but let us know where everyone can find you.
Yeah, well, you can find us on Instagram on Lubify, and then our website is ilubify.com.
I will love
And I
that.
would love to offer your audience 20% off with the
Oh,
code Lubify20. Just
perfect.
check out
Oh,
Lubify20, you'll get 20% off.
that's so amazing. Oh, wow. And very appreciated. I'm sure we'll have a lot of purchases. I'd love to hear and tell the audience if they do experience it or try it. Let us know, comment on your Instagram and social media. I'm sure you'd love to hear from everyone
I do.
their experiences. So thank you so much, Orla. This was such a great conversation. And I think
Thank
it
you,
opened
Dawn.
up some more discussion and talk around it. So I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.